Change how you work today. Change how you work today. Change how you work today. Microsoft Teams shows you the way.
All right, for this Microsoft Teams assignment view, we're going to look at the OneNote assignments and how those work with your classes, and as far as how it looks depending on whether or not you've locked pages and things like that. I'm starting my video here in the OneNote notebook that I'm using for my sample class. And you can see in the teacher-only space in Unit 2, I've created this assignment 15 for videos page with just some basic text on it. What I'm essentially going to be doing is through Microsoft Teams, I'm going to do the same things that I would have been doing normally through the Class Notebook add-in, where I would have created an assignment and then distributed that page out to all of my students into their private areas, into whatever section of that I wanted to go to. So for those of you that are experienced OneNote users, this is essentially the same thing that you can do directly through OneNote, but we're going to do it through Teams and we're going to see how that looks. The nice thing is your students can still interact with that in multiple ways, and you actually end up with a couple different ways that you could grade that as well. So this is going to go back and forth a good bit, but hopefully it'll help you just have a good understanding of what's available, how it all works, and how it's connected together. We're going to go back into our class and we're going to create a new assignment. All right, so I've got my OneNote sample assignment for today's video. We're going to read the info and answer the questions on the attached resource below. We are leaving the late turn-in allowed feature on right now, and we've got it as 100 points. We're not going to look at it after the due date, so we're not changing that at this point. But we do need to add the resource. So we know the resource is in our class notebook, and that class notebook has to be attached to this team that I'm in right now. Remember, I could assign this out to multiple classes from my master class concept like I'm in right now. We know our page is in the teacher only section under Unit 2, and this is the page that we want to have distributed to everybody's homework section for today. And we can see that students are going to have the option to edit their own copy. We're going to go ahead and create the assignment, and we're going to switch over to the student viewpoint. We have our pop-up message. We can go ahead and click on that if we wanted to. I'm just going to refresh this page. And here is my new assignment then that I need to interact. So I'm going to click on that. Notice I still have my turn in options, so we know it's not turned in yet. And here is where I can then interact with that page. And I'm going to enter in my text. I just said this is my answer that I created directly here within the Teams interface. And I'm typing on my OneNote page. Now you see that there's no other options to go to other pages within this. You are literally just going into that one page and able to edit the document right here within Teams, but you do have the option to open it up in OneNote and interact with it that way. We'd have to make sure that over here in the right corner it says saved before we close this out. I'm going to go ahead and close it, but I'm not going to turn it in yet. And I'm going to switch over here in the student view still to my actual OneNote notebook. So I'm directly in the OneNote notebook right now. I also have the option to go into homework directly, click on my assignment that's now been distributed, just like we would have expected if we'd done it through the class notebook distribute page option, and I can see my answer. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some text here just within OneNote. And I've just added the text saying that I'm now typing in the OneNote page directly and not in the team. I don't have to do anything because remember online it is auto saving. We can check and make sure that it's saved up here in the upper right hand corner. But I'm going to go back into my team, and I'm actually going to click on that page directly from the team interface again from the student perspective. And when I click on it, I can see that I still get the same text information that I typed directly from OneNote. So your students can interact with that either way. And let's look at it again now from the teacher standpoint. We know that the assignment has still not been turned in. Now that I'm back in the teacher area, I'm going to go ahead and hit the review option here. I'm going to click on this assignment since this is the latest. It says it's not turned in by this student, but I can click here. And the nice thing is I can see all the information that the student's working on. If they had questions, I could be looking at it from my computer and giving that feedback and communicating over here. Now back in the student area here, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're going to turn this in. So right here, I click on that. We get our rocket ship. We see that we've now turned this assignment in. If I click back on the page, nothing is happening. I can't interact with that page. I can't do anything else that I'm wanting to do. If I come back over here into the notebook, look right here. It says this page has been locked and can't be edited at this time. So now with that message on there, even if I try to click here, I'm unable to do what I want to do as far as making that change. Now, because it's still before the due date and the due time, I could close this and I could do the undo turn-in option, click back on that page, and try to interact with that page accordingly. wait for it to say saved, close that, and turn it back in. Once it's turned back in, when I come back here to my notebook, I get this message about the page being locked, but I can see the new text that I have. If we look back at the teacher side now, we should be able to see that this assignment has now been turned in officially, and it shows that. We click on it, we see the time and the date that it was turned in, and it's interacting just as we would expect. Now, if I go in from the teacher's side of the OneNote notebook directly, and then I go to the homework section for that student, and I go to that page, I can also interact with that work. If I wanted to say review student work from the class notebook tab at the top, I could choose what section I want to go to, which in my case is homework again. I can choose the page, which is assignment 15 for the videos. I can see that this page is locked. I can click on this student's name, which would also have a list of all of my student names here. And if I had different names, you would see that this page would have changed. But I can now interact with that grading feature right here within this list. I can also unlock the page if I wanted to unlock that page for temporary editing by the student, lock it back up, giving us a lot of flexibility in how we work with that assignment. So that in a nutshell is what it's going to look like as you interact and your student interacts with a OneNote assignment. I really prefer to assign everything from this Teams interface rather than the class notebook add-in feature. Ultimately, it's a matter of what works best for your workflow. The nice part about it is either way, you get to interact with it in very much the same way you would have interacted with it before. I hope this video comes in handy as you're trying to decide how you're going to use OneNote assignments within your classes. Thanks a lot for watching.